The provincial election is coming up on April 16th. We want to provide an opportunity for the Lethbridge candidates to talk about their election platforms. Joining me now at the desk is Devon Hargreaves, the Liberal Party candidate for Lethbridge East. Welcome to Bridge City News, Devon.
Thanks so much for having me.
So why don't you share with our viewers a little bit about who Devon Hargreaves is?
Okay, I moved to Lethbridge back in 2011. I came from Fort McMurray. It was a great experience there, and I came down here for post-secondary. Very quickly got onto the Lethbridge College Students Association as Vice President Student Life. So I came on to plan parties and have fun with things like that. Turns out that's not what it was all about. We were in very vigorously fighting the cuts the Redford government made to post-secondary institutions.
But you got to know Brian Jean a little bit, being up in McMurray, Newfoundland's third largest city.
Exactly.
Newfoundlanders working up there?
Had the opportunity to work for the family car wash.
No kidding?
Up. Yeah, yeah.
Wax on, wax off. Now, the Alberta Liberals have made some pretty bold election promises, and one of them is an HST, a provincial sales tax harmonized with the GST. Devon, saying PST here in Alberta, HST, I don't know if that's going to fly.
I think what you're missing on that, though, is cutting income tax on the first 57,000. That's going to affect the vast majority of Albertans, and then it would not be increasing taxes, it's just shifting how they're generated. With that, it would result in an additional $1 billion of income from tourism.
Let's talk about this deficit and this debt with the NDP government. A lot of business owners I've chatted with, a lot of people are just outraged. It's just out of control. What are your thoughts? I mean, you have to make some cuts somewhere, but where would you cut?
I think our thoughts is that Alberta needs a government and representation that's both fiscally responsible, which we're not seeing enough of right now, but still socially progressive. We can't just cut or put freezes into place everywhere. But we can't just throw money at problems to fix them, which is what we're currently seeing. As far as cuts go, there's any number of things. Alberta is one of the largest providers of corporate welfare in Canada. We don't need to be spending over $3 billion on plans for oil by rail car. Business does sort itself out. That money could be better spent at services for Albertans. By putting so much money into that, well, they have a cap on oil production, it's not economically viable to be shipping oil out at this time.
UCP leader Jason Kenney has come out and said as soon as he becomes premier, if he becomes premier, he's going to repeal that carbon tax right away. A lot of business owners I've chatted with, they cannot stand that carbon tax. Even homeowners I've chatted with. You know, I looked at my recent gas bill, $43 for gas, $22 for carbon tax. You know, a lot of us are not happy about it. What's the Liberal plan regarding the carbon tax?
We do agree that we do need to have the carbon tax in place. And the reason why is we would make that revenue neutral, but it would be better administered by Alberta than canceling it here and having it administered by Ottawa.
Okay. What would you do specifically to help out local businesses in our city in Lethbridge?
We're looking at putting a 3-year freeze on taxes for small local business startups and things like that to help make it more viable. With cutting income tax for the majority of Albertans, people are going to have more money to spend as well. And when the economy prospers, so does the lives of Albertans, so does local business, and that's what we're all about.
And you know, a lot of small, medium-sized businesses employ like 75% of Albertans here, so it's pretty important to take care of those business owners, isn't it?
And most definitely.
Yeah. Now, what about, speaking of helping out the business owners, what about the business owners in and around Lethbridge's safe consumption and injection site, Arches? They say they've lost a lot of business since Arches opened. So how do you help out the most vulnerable in our city who are addicted to drugs, you know, opioids with the opioid crisis, but at the same time support these business owners?
We believe that the supervised consumption site is a key strategy in helping combat the current opioid crisis we're facing. With that said, it's just one step of many. We need to see more treatment, more detox, things like that. An Alberta Liberal Party government would declare an immediate health state of emergency on this opioid epidemic to allow intergovernmental departments to better cooperate to get this cleaned up across the province. It's not just affecting Lethbridge, it's affecting our province and even worse, our nation.
How about the potential of maybe moving it away from businesses? maybe to a hospital perhaps, or maybe somewhere more remote? What are your thoughts?
That would be something that definitely could be discussed, but unlike the UCP, we're not going to start putting freezes on supervised consumption sites. They're in place, they've been proven to assist, and there's no need to cut funding like Kenny's good friend Doug Ford did in Toronto.
Now, what about the education system? Many teachers I've spoken with say we'd like to see smaller class sizes. What are your thoughts? What needs to change when it comes to our children's education?
That's a good question. That's a large part of our platform. Pertains to education. A lot of teachers we've talked to at the doors, or grandparents of teachers, parents of teachers, are loving our platform on putting caps on classroom sizes. Let's reduce the size of classrooms, have that teacher giving more individual direct attention to the student, while bringing in educational assistants and other professionals as necessary for more one-on-one for students who need that.
What size of classrooms are they talking about? I mean, when I graduated from high school, it was around 50 students per one teacher, right, in high school. So when I hear now 38, 40 is too much, I'm like, I had more than that when I graduated, right? Mind you, there was a long time ago when I graduated high school. So what are you hearing from teachers? What would they be comfortable with, 25 to 30 students per teacher?
We don't
with
have
some EAs?
We don't have the flat cap established yet, but it would definitely be done in association with teachers. Our promise to hire 2,000 new teachers came directly from the Alberta Teachers Association. We need to talk to the experts and the people who know what they're talking about on the matter.
Speaking of talking and education, Education Minister David Eggen has come out and saying that he was going to cut funding to a lot of the single faith schools, the Christian, Jewish, Muslim schools, if they didn't support GSAs. So let me ask you something. If you're elected here, how will you support children who are most vulnerable, with the GSAs that need that place to be able to come out and want the support, need the support, but at the same time, support the ideologies of these single faith-based schools?
Yeah, that's
going to be a tough road,
The Alberta Liberal Party is completely behind catching charter schools and private schools up to the standard that education's at in Alberta, as far as funding, as far as transportation for those students, and cutting school fees. With that said, we do believe that we do need to protect vulnerable youth. So we are in favor of GSAs, as well as the child deciding when to come out to their parent.
Yeah, some parents I've chatted with as well saying, why would a teacher get the opportunity to find out that my child has come out, but I'm the parent. I've raised this child, I've nurtured, I've loved it, and I've cared for this child. Why would a teacher know more about my child than I do? That's not fair. So how would you respond to that? Those parents who are not going to hurt or abuse their child if they come out, but want to love them where they're at. But the teacher gets the opportunity to find out, but the parent doesn't.
Well, so, how is the teacher going to find out? From the child telling them?
Yeah, through the GSA, through school, right?
Then you would hope that those parents had that solid home base and relationship with their child, that child would feel safe to come out to them directly. What the whole thing we've been seeing is the UCP saying, leave it up to the teacher whether to tell the parent, is simply a party shirking responsibility on addressing the issues and taking a solid stance.
Now, the Liberal Party is also coming out with a sustainable healthcare strategy. Why don't you share with our viewers a bit about what that is?
Yeah, we're looking to keep funding and increase that for healthcare. For us, it's education, healthcare are some of the major proponents that we need to keep our province moving forward and solid for the future. We can't let those things fall into neglect. We can't freeze funding, and we need to stay on top of things before it gets too late.
How about seniors? We have a lot of seniors here in southwestern Alberta. They have a lot of issues as well. I'm getting close to that age myself. Long-term care beds is one issue that's been talked about by Rachel Notley, your leader David Kahn, of course, Jason Kenney, and Stephen Mandel with the Alberta Party. So what would you do to be able to help a lot of our seniors?
We want to add another 2,200 long-term care beds. But with that said, the Alberta Liberal Party is focused more on preventative strategies, right? So mental health to help combat addictions down the road, medically, smaller classroom sizes to increase graduation. So as seniors, we would want to see implemented tax cuts for those who continue to live with a senior parent and provide care. Let's keep them in a healthy environment, and if they don't have to go into long-term care, all the better.
A lot of seniors I've spoken with as well, they want to be able to stay at their home for as long as they can.
Yeah.
and feel that
Yeah.
independence, right?
Definitely.
To support them. You know, maybe have somebody cut their lawn, shovel their sidewalks, maybe help with groceries or whatnot, but they want that independence, and that's pretty important too, isn't it?
It's very important. So definitely accessibility, making sure that there is care in place, as well as home care is a great strategy to help reduce just sending people to homes.
Now, the Liberals also came out with a controversial plan to introduce basic income for low-wage earners. Many see this as just a handout and discourage people from actually going out and getting a job. So how do you respond to that?
The basic income isn't to just give out free money. It's been proven that when people have income, it also allows them to help pursue higher education. It does allow for stay-at-home parents and things like that. So I think it's a great strategy. It will help combat homelessness. It'll combat mental health that comes from not being able to find work, and would be an incentive for people to get out there, get a job, and create more revenue.
So Devon, you've been knocking on some doors here so far?
Yeah.
How many doors do you think you've hit so far?
I've lost count. That would be something for my...
Over 1,000 maybe?
I go, well over that.
Well over that, right?
I go where my campaign manager tells me, and...
So what are people telling you then when you're knocking on those doors? What are they frustrated with? Let's start with that.
In Lethbridge, we have so many parents. It's all about families, so that's whether that be about healthcare for senior citizens, whether that be children with developmental disabilities.
Maybe daycare as well?
Daycare, we're committed to expanding $25 a day daycare. And a very huge one, which has been very, very popular with both parents, seniors, and everyone in between, has been the classroom size camp.
Okay. What about getting more Albertans working? You know, a lot of people seem to have a plan for getting more pipelines built. Now, Jason Kenney says he's going to implement the NDP Bill 12 as soon as it becomes premier, if it becomes premier. Turn off the taps to BC. Is that a little extreme for you, or what do you think of that idea?
Well, that's very extreme. Where Mr. Kenney's platform seems based on lawsuits with the federal government. We're going to sue them over carbon tax. We're going to sue them over turning off the taps. That's going to be putting money into lawyers that could be better focused on Alberta. And who knows? I'm sure Mr. Kenney's got plenty of great lawyers out in Ontario that he can call on to fight the federal government, but that's not going to do anything to raise employment in Alberta.
They have quite the history too, Trudeau and Kenney, because Trudeau used to be Kenney's critic when Kenney was a member of the Harper team, right? So
Yeah.
cabinet minister. So what about getting pipelines built? What is the Liberal plan? Because that's a big part of who we are, the energy sector here in Alberta.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. We've been calling, even before this election was called, on more accountability on where this pipeline's at. For us, it doesn't matter who's in government. We need a provincial government that can stand up to Ottawa and get answers. We do completely believe that we do need the proper consultations with our First Nations people to bring them in and include them on the project. And we're not seeing that happen in a time frame that's suiting the needs of Alberta. So in the meantime, as well as calling on this pipeline to be built and for accountability, we are wanting to invest more into the STEM programs. Let's diversify our economy by diversifying our workforce.
You know, I'm glad you brought that up because, I mean, here in southwestern Alberta, we're more agriculture-based, right?
Yeah.
Calgary's more about the Calgary Red Deer, I guess, is more about pipelines, the energy sector. I mean, we have some as well here. So how can we diversify? Is it more green energy projects instead of putting all of our eggs in the energy basket? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, we can diversify with that. Another one we've got good feedback on has been tax cuts and credits for the film industry. Which is great in southern Alberta. As I'm sure you're aware, we're right at the edge of
Fort
the...
McLeod has got another big motion picture with
happening
Kevin
right now.
Costner. That's right, yeah, shooting there.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I saw the pictures from there. It's quite the change they did to that town.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Now, part of the Liberal plan is to grant new revenue-generating powers to Calgary and Edmonton and less provincial oversight. Now, how would that actually work, though?
That would be officially recognizing municipalities as their own order of government. Whereas right now the province can step over those boundaries if and when needed. It would be putting more responsibility on the hands of people on the ground who know the issues.
Let me ask you something when you're door knocking, Devon, as well. The Liberals, the federal Liberals, are not too popular here in Alberta. You know, it's just interesting. So how do you try and distance yourself from the Trudeau Liberals saying, hey, that's the federal party, we are the Alberta Liberals, we don't really have a connection with them?
Well, I'm Devon Hargreaves. I'm my own individual. Our leader is David Kahn, and as I said, it doesn't matter to us who's in federally. We're going to stand up and we're going to fight for Alberta and what Alberta needs, and even more specifically, what Lethbridge East needs.
Now, some people say, well, the Alberta Liberals, I mean, you guys are, provincially 2%. It's almost like a fringe party. It's the UCP, the NDP, it's a two-horse race. Notley and Kenny, the Alberta Party's got, 8.5 points, and the Alberta Liberals are 2%. So how do you combat that? How do you say, we want to be relevant?
Well, we started this party back in 1905. We saw the NDP come from just a handful of seats to a majority government. It is possible. We've got great candidates. We're out there knocking doors and burning the rubber off our shoes. And it's this base of a good leader and great candidates that is going to win Alberta back over.
So if you're not elected, what's next for you after that?
I'm going to continue to advocate. I've been a strong advocate for Lethbridge for many years, since I moved here in 2011, essentially, and I'll continue to do that.
How about employment-wise? What are you going to be doing?
I'll go back to the same job I'm at now, which is in personal finance.
Is it? Okay,
Yeah.
that's wonderful. Devon Hargreaves, the Liberal Party candidate for Lethbridge East, thanks so much for joining me in studio today.
Oh, thanks so much for having me here, and to all your viewers, I would just want to encourage them to get out and be sure to vote.